Hi guys, my name is Charles Cushman, and this summer I'm working with NCTV to bring you guys really insightful and truly inspiring content that I found has worked in my life to elevate my life, and information that I've learned throughout the years and stuff that, like I said, I've applied to my life that have elevated my life in ways I could never imagined. And you just have to have a willingness to learn and the energy available to put these things, apply these concepts into your life so that you can truly be the person you've always wanted to be, but maybe have shied away from, or there's circumstances in your life that have not allowed you to blossom and fully express yourself. Because when you express yourself, you're tapping into your own innate gifts and talents of what makes you special. And I truly believe that when you are able to bring that out to the world, that's when the magic happens. And that's when the right people, the right circumstances, that's when your life begins to change for the better. And that's when you become influential. And you are an example for others to be the same kind of thing, for the same kind of person for others. And today on this video, I'm going to talk about this book I'm reading right now called Hardwiring Happiness by Rick Hanson. I'm not finished with this book yet, but man, I've learned so much, and I've tried to apply it as much as I can on a daily basis. And what this book talks about is hardwiring happiness, how we can make happiness a habit into our daily lives, and how we can practice it. Because the truth is, and this gets into the science of neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is also known as brain plasticity or neuroplasticity. It's the ability of the brain to undergo structural physiological changes. Okay, so you're literally changing the structure of your brain to remember how to do things more. You're just changing how your brain works. And we're also going to talk about experience-dependent neuroplasticity, which refers to the brain's capacity to change in response to experience or repeated stimuli. So a simple example of that would be, say you're learning how to play the piano. Okay, so you're experiencing the keyboards and everything, and in that, what's going on is, although you're playing on this piano, if upside here you're building and connecting this neural structure within your brain that's forming and building and building. It's going to be a bridge so that so your body and your mind can fall back on those laid structures, so you don't have to even think about it. Eventually it just becomes a habit, right? Like driving a car. A lot of us don't even think about driving a car. It's just innate within us now. So hardwiring happiness is so impactful because it's the new science of how to reach sustained levels of contentment, calm, and peace and tranquility in your everyday life. And why that is so important is because, first of all, life is supposed to be happy and joyous. And there are going to be bumps in the road that happen, but when you're calm, and peaceful, you're a better father or mother, you're more productive at work, you're able to think more clearly, and you'll be able to fully experience life. So let's go into how to do this. So one of the first things he talks about in his book is this acronym called HEAL. HEAL, HEAL. And the letter H stands for have a positive experience. So in your day, and we're going to dive into now how you can hardwire your brain for happiness. So using this acronym HEAL, we'll first look at the first letter, H. Stands for have a positive experience, okay? So this means notice a positive experience that is currently around you, an experience that is present in your awareness. And this could be, the sight of wind blowing through the trees, or the sounds of birds chirping in the background, the taste of a delicious sandwich you just ate, or you consumed, or you could just create one. You could create one. Draw, or you could dance. That's a positive experience. It could be the thought of someone you love or something that makes you happy, such as a relaxing feeling of reading. Make it as emotionally rewarding as possible, and make it more than just a positive thinking. So that's the first step. Just have a positive experience. Either notice it or produce it. The second step which is E in the acronym HEAL, is enrich it. Enrich that positive experience. So That means staying with the positive experience for maybe a few seconds at a time or as long as possible, you know, really open up to the feeling of the experience. Let it fill your mind and your body and soak it in. Okay, notice how it can have a profound effect on you on that moment. Okay, how it's helping you or making a difference in your life. Or once you have that experience, like pause, really take it in and take that positive experience to another level. You know, don't just have it as a fleeting moment. Absorb, you know, like really enrich that. The third step has to do with the letter A, which means absorb. So the third step is to absorb the experience, meaning like really let it sink into your mind and body even more. Perhaps treat it as an exercise, or see it as a body, feel it as the body sensation. Like, where do you feel this? Where do you feel this experience in your body? You know, imagine this feeling going into your heart or your soul and lighting up your being, and notice this experience is becoming part of you. And it's a resource that you can take with you anywhere you go. So, you know, at a time when you are feeling stressed or worried, you can call upon that feeling again because it's connected with you. You know, an example of this is, okay, say I'm outside on my deck and I see a beautiful blue jay course go into my awareness, all right? And I see it land on the bird feeder, and behind the bird feeder, I see a beautiful landscape of trees, and the wind's blowing through the trees, and I smell the fresh air and everything. So what I did, I had a positive experience. I saw the blue jay go in, I saw the wind blowing around me and everything, and then I enriched it. I really got in tune with this. I stayed present with it. I didn't just like see the bird and just like, you know, let my mind wander on my to-do list to the day. I have to do groceries, but I really sat with it. And the final step, absorb it. You know, so I was really in tune with my body just then when I felt the sun like going through the trees or on my skin. I absorbed the feeling of the sun's warmth. I absorbed the feeling of being happy, what that felt like in my body, where I felt that, oh my God, I felt light, I felt uplifted up here. Sometimes when I feel really good, I feel like I have this energy like up here, like I just feel so light and free and everything. So really absorb that. And what's beautiful is you can have you can have so many positive experiences every day. It's unbelievable. And he talks about in the book how, you know, there's fruits of happiness all around us, and we just forget to pick at it, or we just forget to even acknowledge of what that is. You know, it's so good. And the fourth step, and this step is optional, is to link a positive and a negative material together. So link a negative experience with a positive experience. And again, this is optional. You really focus on the first three letters: heal, enrich, and absorb. But this level is like optional, but it is also valuable if you want to. And it can be very useful. So while having a stable sense of a positive experience in your awareness, you can also be aware of a negative experience in the background. Okay, so example of this is, say you're playing basketball in your driveway, right? And you remember that a year ago, you broke your foot and were unable to play. So the positive experience that I'm having right now, that's in my awareness, is I'm playing basketball, and I love basketball, okay? Or, you know, it doesn't have to be me. In the background of your awareness, back here, okay, so up here, you have playing basketball. Back here, you have the thought form of, oh my God, I remember a year ago when I broke my foot, okay? But while doing this, so having the positive and negative experiences with both awareness, you're teaching your brain to be grateful for what you do have, and that, you know, by doing this, it makes you more grateful for things you have, and it trains you to take negatives and turn them into positives in a sense, you know? So it's just an optional step, but I think it could be really impactful if you want to take that. And again, these are just the basics, basic few concepts he explains in this book. I really recommend you to read it, but let's continue now. So another step that this kind of goes into meditation that I found that's really helpful for me is to be the watcher of your thoughts. And this gets into mindfulness, but just be aware of your thoughts. And what do I mean by this? So as they say in a lot of meditative practices, you have to be the observer of your thoughts, okay? And why this is so important is because by taking a step back from the chatter of your mind, you see that your true self, your and your mind are two different things, okay? So an example of this is, man, say I spilt some coffee on the carpet, all right? My mind, which is made up of all of my social conditioning, my past experiences, my egoic judgments, and about the world around me, my upbringing, my mind is going to say, oh my God, why did you spill that coffee? You're such a loser. You're such, like, why would you do that, you idiot? Now you have to do X, Y, and Z and clean up, blah, 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 all this, you know, and then that one bad experience can set your mood for the rest of the day, and the rest of your days is, you know, it's off the races. Instead, I can be the observer of my thought, the watcher of that. So my mind is saying, blah, 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 you're a failure, why'd you spill coffee, blah, blah. Oh, now you have this on top of your table. The observer of my thoughts would now take that experience and say, okay, Merrill, listen, this part of you is shatter. You know, you're getting angry at yourself, but what can you do right now to maybe respond? Maybe instead of getting angry, maybe take a step back and say, what can I do? Maybe I'll go and get a napkin, calmly clean it up. Everybody makes mistakes. And now the problem's solved. I'm already moved on from the event because I was able to observe myself, you know, yelling almost at myself, like, this isn't me. This back here is me. You know, who is the observer? If you're thinking about it, the observer isn't your mind. It's not this isn't you. Your mind is just a chatterbox. You know, you're not your mind. You're basically, I take it as you're just a being. You're just awareness. And your awareness is able to observe what's going on out here so you can be more present in your everyday life and take on challenges better and be more happy. So by doing this, though, on a scientific level, you know, when you observe your thoughts, you're mentally rehearsing your brain to look at the situation in a more calm and peaceful manner. And think about it, you know, our minds are not bad, you know, but it can be destructive. And if you don't know how to use your mind, it will be destructive. The mind is good. You know, it's good in practical situations and so forth. You need it. But you have to be aware when your mind is not being productive, or it's keeping you out of the loop. You have to catch yourself thinking negatively, because that's when the mind is destructive. As you know, that's when you can fall in those negative thought forms. So now let's dive into the science of experience-dependent neuroplasticity. So with this in mind, it's just the ability of the mind, or it's the ability of, it refers to the brain's capacity to change in response to its experience, okay? So what this really looks like is, well, let me take it like in this light. In the book, he talks about Jeffrey Schwartz, who has termed this self-directed neuroplasticity. So self-directed neuroplasticity is really the same thing as experience-dependent neuroplasticity. And what he's trying to say is that each person has the power to change his or her brain for the better by daily experiences. So in quick, easy, enjoyable ways throughout your day, you can use the power of self-directed neuroplasticity to build up a lasting sense of ease, confidence, self-acceptance, kindness, like you name it, inner peace. And in essence, you'll need to make practicing happiness a habit, and turn everyday good experiences into good neural structure, okay? So when you understand the science of this stuff, it's giving you the fundamentals and basic insight into, like, why on a deeper level should I be having good experiences every day? Oh, because I'm building this bridge within my mind of how to constantly and as much as possible be a happy and joyous person, which honestly is hard to do these days because we have so much. But if you do it more and more often, do it with purpose and intent, I'm telling you, your life will change. It certainly changed my life when I started applying these things, because honestly, I can say from experience, it does become a habit, because you teach your body to not focus on the negatives that have plagued you in the past. And it just builds up that confidence, and it builds that muscle memory like, I don't know, it's so cool when you can see this getting into your life. You'll wake up every day with more energy, more vitality, and more meaning in your life, because you're just energized more. You don't have the negative things being pulled on you. Okay, so when you do this, you will activate mental states and then install them as neural traits. Okay, so when you need them, you'll be able to draw on these neural traits, which are your inner strengths, and with doing this, you'll be growing your mind, and you'll be using your mind to change your brain and mind for the better, and also your body for the better. Because if you're building these positive experiences over and over again, you're also releasing all these positive chemicals, the neurochemicals that are produced in your brain. So when you have a thought creates an emotion, and emotion releases chemicals that in turn change your body, because chemicals change your body. If you're state of your body, if you're feeling stress, or anxious, you're going to feel that. If you're feeling love and wholeness and bliss, you're going to feel that. If you're at a party listening to music and everybody's dancing and cheering, you're getting filled with all those positive emotions, you're going to feel fantastic. And that's exactly what you're doing here. But the more you do it, you're going to, it's going to be, I just can't wait for you guys got to try this. So bit by bit, synapse by synapse, you can build happiness into your brain, and you'll be teaching your mind to focus on the positives rather than negatives. Like, you're literally training your body to focus on the good things in life rather than negatives, because unfortunately, like he talks about in the book, we have this negative bias in our head, that if one bad thing happens in our day, despite there being 10 good things, we're always going to focus on the negative, because it's a habit from our evolution, to focus on the threats in our life. We have to be aware of those things. It makes sense, but doesn't mean we have to just fall back on that. So slowly, this will build a mental fortitude to combat these negative biases of our own. And the last thing I love is the practice of tending to your garden. So he talks about how all of us have, in referencing to the analogy in the book, imagine that your happy, vibrant, youthful spirit is represented by beautiful flowers in your own garden. Like, you are your own garden, and good thoughts are represented by beautiful flowers that are growing, and the bad thoughts or negative thought forms, when they come up in your garden, are represented by the vines. Okay, so over time, if these negative thought forms, which represent the vines, if these vines are taking over yourself, taking over your garden, they're going to infiltrate the beautiful flowers and cover them over and not let that sunlight get to them. Okay, so then your beautiful flowers over time will not be able to grow. And then when that happens, you won't be yourself. You won't be yourself to who you want to be intrinsically. You won't be able to express that to your family, to your friends, into your work. Everything trickles from there. But if you can remove those negative thought forms a little bit every day, becomes a habit, you're going to break open those vines, rip them apart, and all that sunshine is going to seep through into your true self. The part of you that should be peaceful, calm, confident, and those flowers, those positive feelings, are going to get the sunlight they need to grow. So this, in a simple step, is simply be with it, looking at the weeds and flowers without judging or changing anything. Second, you could pull the weeds by decreasing what's negative in your mind. And third, you could grow the flowers by increasing the positives in your mind. Okay, so ultimately, why this is so important is because by making happiness a habit, you're getting really in tune. You're going to get back to who you truly should be, which is just a happy, joyous, person of life. it seems like, you know, to me, it is hard to relax and it is hard to be happy, because in our current state of affairs and in our a lot of life situations, they pull on our happiness. It makes it really difficult. And you think, like, on that Saturday night when you're like, oh man, why can't I be, if you're having a good time on Saturday night, or, on vacation, why can't life be this good all the time? And I think if you understand the science of how your brain works and how your body responds neurochemically and everything, you can make that vacation day every day. Every day can be a holiday. And I truly believe that. It's just it's how your thoughts become things. It's how you view your life and your perspective. If you keep building those positive neurons in your brain, it's going to build that mental fortitude, where nothing negative can get in. Or, if it does get in, you have the ability to look at it healthily, and instead of reacting to your emotions, you're going to be able to respond to them in a productive manner. And then once you keep doing that, man, oh my God, your life will change for the better. So with that being said, please check out Happiness, Hardwiring Happiness, or look up the author Rick Hanson. He has a lot of good TED Talks and stuff on YouTube. But long story short, I would say this: if you don't do you, you won't be done. That's what Reverend Dr. Michael Beckwith said. He was a spiritual leader and has his own spiritual center called Agape. And he said that if you don't do you, you won't be done. And I think one of the main purposes in life is to fully express yourself and to let that shine. Because when you do, you're tapping into who you are intrinsically. Just how everybody has a certain DNA print on their finger, and everybody's unique. Every single one of you guys that's watching this is unique and special, and can do things that I might have my own gifts, but you have your own gifts, And if you don't express that, then you're actually you're not being able to allow that to show that to the world, and then the world can't be a better place if you think about it, because you're not being yourself. And I guess all I'm just trying to say is that making happiness a habit is a journey into starting that journey, taking those steps to do that. So that being said, guys, thank you for tuning in, and be sure to look on NCTV's website for more content. And that being said, have a great day. Start applying these stuff and taking action in your life to make happiness a habit. Thank you.